Alright, I'm at it again with high power scope. It is a nice clear day, so if you look out, this is what I see. It's nice and clear, so it's a good time to work out some really high magnification scopes, which is exactly what I did. And I figured that before I forget everything, I should talk about them. So I've got 3 high power scopes here. I hope you should be able to see me, hear me. It's windy, so I'll try to speak a little bit louder. But anyhow, I've got 3 scopes here, and I have just finished looking at one more time. And the 3 scopes are the Vortex Golden Eagle 15 to 60 by 52, Delta Stryker HD 5 to 50 by 56, and the Sightron S5 ED 10 to 50 by 60. So these are high power scopes. They're all second focal plane. They're intended for target shooting. These are not what we typically think of as target scopes, target tactical scopes, although tactical is really what you do with them, not what the scope is. They can be pushed to that role if necessary, especially the Delta, but that's not what they're for. F-class people shoot them. Varminters will probably do well with them. I mean, these are really for shooting small caliber weapons fairly far out at tiny targets, right? You need magnification not so much to shoot very far away, but rather you need magnification to be able to shoot at very small things. Which reminds me, I need to do a lecture on why magnification and how, and diffraction limit. But anyhow, moving on. So I've got these 3 scopes, and I've just looked at them comparatively carefully at all of the magnifications where they overlap, meaning I looked as low as 15, which is the lowest that the Vortex goes to, and as high as 50, which is the highest that Sightron and Delta go to. Optically, all 3 of these are quite good. Are they as good as March High Master? No. Are they as good as non-High Master March? Equivalent magnification models? Maybe not, but not that far off, right? So these are already getting into the performance range, which is really serviceable. So in the past, I have compared this exact Vortex Strike Eagle to the non-ED version of the Sightron. And while there was a lot I liked about the Sightron, the Strike Eagle with high magnification was a better scope. It was a little bit sharper, it was a little bit cleaner. Now Sightron has added ED glass, and the performance at high magnification is vastly improved. Right. So starting at 15, if you look at these at 15 power, side by side, the Vortex is slightly cleaner than the others, but all 3 are quite good. There is a little bit of a chromatic aberration still visible with the S5 ED, but it is pretty small, and it's on very bright and very sharp edges. I was looking at the church over there. Right now it's a sunny day, it's blindingly white, and on the vertical edge I could see a little bit of this magenta chromatic aberration. I could also see a little bit of it with both of these, but keep in mind 2 things, right? I'm really good at seeing chromatic aberration. I have a very trained eye for it, and I'm really good in inducing it. And with all 3 of these scopes, the way the chromatic aberration works is that when you are strictly on axis, it's extremely minor to non-existent. You start seeing it as you go further to the side, right? So that's called lateral chromatic aberration. Longitudinal, what's on axis, is not really there. I move my eye in and out. As long as I stay on axis, it's not bad. So after 15, I went up to 20 power. The balance of optical quality was roughly the same. All 3 were very good. All 3 have pretty reasonable color. I think the Stryker is a little bit more neutral than the other two, but it's very close. The Sightron is slightly warmer, right? So then as I look at them further, then I look at them at 30 power, at 40 power, and finally at 50. So my basic conclusion is that I could take either one of these. I'll put in a rifle and be perfectly happy. Where they work best would really depend on conditions and all that. For example, Golden Eagle, as much as I like it, right? So it's the 130mm tube scope here. It's light. It's not short. It's the longest scope here, although it is the lightest. This one is MOA only, which is not my thing, but it's perfectly workable. But the fact that the lowest available magnification on this is 15 power, for me is a little bit limiting. I live in California. During most of the year it's hot as hell here, and mirage is so significant that not being able to go lower than 15 is could be troublesome, but clearly works, and it works well. The Stryker is obviously the most flexible of the designs. It goes from 5 to 50, and with a mill reticle there are a lot of things I can do with it. Like I said, I've checked the turrets on all three. They all track quite good. The Strike Eagle is not illuminated. The Delta is, the Sightron is not. So if I wanted to use a scope for target shooting, environmenting, and for some reasonably challenging conditions, I'd go with the Delta. A, it allows me to really dial down to 5 with a massively wide field of view and all that. And two, it allows me to illuminate the reticle, right? These are target reticles. They're really thin. So this is just a real 1/10 MOA dot, I think, 1/10 MOA dot. This is a mill grid with a floating dot in the center. This is an MOA kind of a scale. Grid scale is better, with also a floating dot. These are thin second focal plane reticles. The light goes down a little bit. Good luck seeing that reticle. You see things in these scopes far longer than you see the reticle. But with the Delta, I've got illuminated. I can illuminate it, and I can use it across a much broader range of conditions. But anyhow, with all that, aside from the reticle illumination, all of these have exposed turrets. The turret on the Sightron pops up and down. So where is it? Very nice tactile feel and everything. So you can lock it down. On a Delta, they have a new version coming out. I should get my hands on it in January or so. That also has a locking turrets. These turrets don't lock. Okay, not a deal breaker, but just something to be aware of. But anyhow, aside from the reticles and the illumination, the other big difference is the way the side focus works. To my great shame, I don't remember what the close focus distance of the Vortex is. It's not marked, but I don't think it's all that close. I think it's really designed for centerfire stuff. On a Delta, this thing focuses down to 10 meters, and on the Sightron, I think it's 12 or 15 meters or so. So these are all suitable for super accurate rimfires and air guns, and I've seen scopes like this on rimfires. But the travel of the side focus knob, I talked about it a little bit in the previous video. The Delta has the shortest movement of the knob, so you have the least granularity in setting your focus. The Golden Eagle is a conventional single speed side focus knob, and it works really well, but the Sightron really has it all beat, right? So the Sightron has this dual coarse focus, you can see like this, coarse focus and fine focus that's 4 times slower. It is just so much easier when you are at high power. High power is where it matters. When you're at high power and far away, getting the perfect focus and the perfect parallax setting with the Sightron is significantly easier than with either one of these two. And a Golden Eagle is a little bit easier than the Delta, although the Delta has a close focus advantage. That having been said, I had all these on guns, and I did not run into issues with the Delta, but it just took more care, because as you are past 400-500 yards, dialing it in, requires a really small movement of the focus. Right? But anyhow, so that is largely it. I like all three scopes, and all three are good enough to where I don't know if I would shell out the money for the 10 to 50 colors or the March or the Field Target Schmidt or I don't know what else, right? So there are, I suspect there'll be some other entrants in the high magnification field, but these are clearly designed for different things, right? So the Golden Eagle and the Sightron are really purpose-built F-class target scopes, while the Delta does that extremely well, but also... Hi Daniel, want to say hi to the camera? I'm making a video. Come. So in the previous video, you met my daughter Julia, and in this one you can meet my son Daniel, my second chief rifle scope technician. Say hi. He said hi. I'm almost done, buddy. Okay. The Delta is more of an across-the-course scope that you can double and do a lot of different things with. One of the things I'm planning to do with it is I'm going to put it in my varmint rifle, right? I built a AR-10 into 43 Winchester that I want to use as basically varminting and some target shooting and stuff like that. I think the Delta is going to be perfect for it. Not that the other ones wouldn't do well, but the flexibility of the Delta in this form factor means something. If I were looking for a pure target shooting scope, that would be a tougher call, and although there is a little bit more chromatic aberration in the Sightron, more than another, although not by much, I think this dual focus parallax turret really makes a difference. I think it is a really good idea. Anyhow, thank you for watching this. I hope the sound came through okay, despite the wind and all, and I appreciate your time. Go to my website, www.darklordofoptics.com. I'm gonna post some pictures and reticles and all the other stuff there, and some additional commentary. And once again, I really appreciate you watching this. Thank you.